Namaste, everybody. Good evening. I hope this finds you all very well. Doing as well as you can in these crazy, crazy times. So this is the beginning of our purpose side of this 6-week series on passion, purpose, and peace. So we're coming into the purpose side. So really, a life with purpose is a life without meaning, and it can make life feel very dry and listless and useless and hopeless. So I think we suffer from a lot of things, mental anxiety and depression and things like that if we don't have purpose. So really want you to have a little look at how purpose may be playing out in your life, or where you feel purposeful. We're weaving this in from this idea that our passions fuel our purpose. And that's true, but a lot when we hear about or read about or hear other people speak about purpose, it might be more in the idea of, you know, what you do for a livelihood, like how you spend most of your time earning money or living your life in that way. I don't really think about purpose so much in that way, and certainly in the Vedanta philosophy of purpose, or purpose is often called in yogic terms, you might see it written or talked about in the yoga circles as dharma, your swadharma. And this is often translated as your purpose. And I certainly used to think my purpose, like, oh my God, I didn't know my purpose. Like, you know, what's wrong with me? I don't know my purpose. And this purpose must be this massive big thing that I'm missing out on. Like, I'm not living my life properly because I don't know my purpose. And surely your purpose, you know. So for me, when I look at it from a yoga perspective, Dharma is more about duty. And duty and purpose go hand in hand as well. And sometimes it isn't something you really want to do, but something that you find yourself in a position where you really have to play that role. You're playing the role of a carer, of a mother or a partner or a child, or in some role, in some greater role in work or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that your duty might come out. So I'm not really talking about livelihoods here, and I'm not talking so much about duty. I'm looking for something a little deeper and in alignment with who you are and where you are at now in this time in humanity. So yes, we look at our passions and how our passions begin to incite a sense of purpose. Now, when we feel into ourselves about, you know, what is my purpose now? Okay, I might have some passions and that fuels certain actions. Like that might be, oh, I have a passion about, I don't know, painting or some other thing that fuels your life in a really important way, like music or, you know, animals, spending time with family and stuff like that. But looking a little deeper and saying, well, what, for me to work out what maybe like purpose at the moment is to start really looking deep into yourself and saying, what are my greatest gifts? What are the greatest gifts that have been given to me? What are my best attributes, my best qualities? And how are these things being directed, being expressed, being used in my life? I really would like you to journal or contemplate or just, you know, think about as you go about your week this week about what are your greatest gifts, innate gifts that have been given to you. And and just your gifts. And what else did I say? Oh, I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, I really do want you to look at that. How are those gifts or those attributes or qualities expressing themselves? And I'd like you to also contemplate it deeply enough that you might be surprised about an insight that you have. Like, I never really thought about that as a gift. Like, and I've never really seen myself like that. But somebody said something to you about the way you did that, or, you know, and you thought, wow, they think I'm good at that, you know, oh, right, maybe. Because I actually think right now there's something new emerging, and what life, universe, God, source, divinity, whatever you want to name it or not name it, there is demanding something new from us, and it wants something deep from within you to be birthed out of you, so you can have this fresh new purpose. And I'm wanting you to link a little bit back with your passions, and particularly the passions that ignite some strong reaction in you. So what you care most deeply about at the moment may also be a new thing. I want you to dig into that. What are my best gifts? And what do I care most about now? What fuels that sense of bing, passion, and like, whoa, a bit fiery about that? Because I do think we need a lot of warriors at the moment. And I love the idea of us all picking a cause, even if that cause is like fighting for my family and fighting for my family's health or rights, or, you know, freedoms or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of stuff being churned up and people are picking sides. And despite the sides that they may pick, whether you agree with it or not, I'm seeing people feeling very connected, inspired, you know, fueled up on their chosen thing, you know, that they're gonna fight for. And it's happening all around the world. So it doesn't have to be a big fight. I'm just saying that you can start tuning into the new things that are arising out of you, new concerns, new cares, and the deepest gifts. See, maybe at the end of this or throughout the rest of the year, we can begin to weave something a little deeper for ourselves. Because as we transform through this time, we may need to have some things that we really are inspired by and want to be connected to and want to make a difference with, because I actually believe we're coming to a very, very crucial point in human history, and we have to be part of it because we're born in this time. And you have chosen to be born and alive. I never thought I'd see what we're gonna see. Like, I think there's going to be big changes in the next 20 or 30 years. And I'm young enough to see it. And you guys are young enough to experience it. Like, not how we thought we're just passing this shit down the road. We're not, we're part of it. So let's also be part of that change that may need to happen, because that is going to make you feel really good about your life when it comes to the big sleep. I had no idea I was going down that road for this little spiel, but there you go. It's come out, and there we have it. So we're going to get on with some practice. And today we're going to really just start with some breathing. So I might do it like this so I can still see you guys. I want you to be comfortable seated position. I know this is a chill class, but I have no props except for this little thing. So this isn't my most trusted. This is one that I don't use very often. But tonight I thought this is just going to be the perfect thing for all my needs. So you might have a little blanket that you can fold and roll and do various things with, or a little pillow that feels right for you as well. And we're going to use that pretty much for everything. Of course, make the changes that you need to make. You need to make any to make yourself comfortable. Any other props, of course, you use as well. But we're just going to sit in a comfortable seated position. This might be cross-legged like I'm going to do, but it could equally be the Virasana one, where we're stacking blocks or sitting on a bolster or something like that on our buttocks on our feet. So take what is right for you. And just take a moment to steady yourself, make yourself comfortable. Make all those little Last minute adjustments before you allow the eyes to close down. Any little wriggling as the eyes shut down as you get that internal view. And then just begin by taking a couple of deepened breaths, perhaps breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let the breath and body find their way, settle their way into comfort and into just a comfortable and natural rhythm as you simply explore what's arising for you, how you're feeling this evening, this week. At the same time, you can be ensuring that each exhalation allows a little more releasing of tension throughout the body, throughout the muscles. Preferably without losing form, without losing the structure, the alignment. Make space for the breath throughout the body, but particularly through the torso, down all the way into the abdomen. Let the shoulders release and drop away from the ears. Let the hands and arms just rest, perhaps in the lap or on the thighs. Find your sit bones and feeling both left and right sit bones connecting into the support beneath you. Just trying to make that seat as even as possible on the left and right sides. And also seeing if you can find that perfect alignment, shoulders over the hips, crown over the pelvis. So just noticing if you're leaning back a little bit too much, rounding through the thoracic perhaps. Or leaning a little forward, lifting a little too much in the lower ribs. And that just brings the body a little forward. So just making these little adjustments so you feel really aligned and seated in the center. Let the muscles of your face completely relax, be open and receptive. And then notice how that open, receptive face changes the inner bhava of the body, the soma. We're going to do some balancing breathing. I do think that when it comes to really living our purpose or living with purpose, it's a very good idea to be incredibly balanced, centered, grounded. So we're going to balance the masculine and feminine energies of the body through a breathing practice. These in yoga are called Pingala and Ida. Pingala being the masculine, Ida being the feminine. And these pathways or nadis are found on the left and right sides of the spine. I'm going to just start by breathing through the main channel of the spine called the Sushumna. This is the spiritual or energetic superhighway of our body. So begin by inhaling from the tail and feeling as if you can inhale the breath all the way up the center of your spine to the crown and exhale it back down. And just find a nice rhythm for a few rounds, clearing the Sushumna, clearing that central axis of the body. This Sushumna is where we find the chakras also along the line of the Sushumna. And the chakras meet at the crisscrossing of the masculine and feminine lines of energy that crisscross through the Sushumna. So it has this little snake-like lifting up, coming from one side, crossing over and back over. But we won't get complicated like that. It's just a little bit of extra information for you. But traditionally, we're looking at the left side of your body as the feminine side, the right side of the body as the masculine side. And then it swaps over at the crossing of the eyebrow, where the third eye is. And then we have the right side of the brain as the feminine side and the left side of the brain as the masculine. But for now, we're going to keep it super sweet, super simple. I want you to begin to imagine that the breath begins to ride up the left side of the spine, just the left side of the spine, coming up to wherever it feels about right for you, and then exhaling back down the left. And I want you to repeat that anywhere from 3 to 5 times, depending on how quickly you're going to breathe through this. And then I'd like you to breathe up the right side of the spine and exhale down the right side. Try and make it the same amount of times that you did before, so please try and count. Whenever you've completed the same amount of cycles, we're going to then inhale up the left side of the spine and exhale down the right side of the spine, and continue the loop, inhaling up the left and exhaling down the right. And then after wherever, exhaling down the right, we're going to change the direction. Inhale up the right and exhale down the left and loop it back up the right, down the left. Same amount of times as in the other direction. And then finally, when you're ready, you're going to inhale up the left side of the spine. Exhale down the right side of the spine. Inhale up the right side of the spine. And exhale down the left side of the spine. So this is Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breathing done through the spine. So we inhale up the left. Exhale down the right. Inhale up the right. Exhale down the left. And do one more cycle on your own. And then when you have completed, I'd like you to flush it out by just breathing up the central channel and back down 2 or 3 times. And then as you're done, you can just let it go. Perhaps open your eyes, do anything that feels nice for you. I'm just going to make a couple of little changes here so you can see me more clearly. From there, we're going to simply open our legs up nice and wide. You might still want to be sitting on something. Try and find that nice alignment of the spine that we had before when we're, we were just seated before we started the breathing exercise. You might like to take one line back up the spine and exhale it back down. Oh, I forgot, we were going to shake our legs out because you probably really needed that. Getting very focused, which of course is when you have great purpose, get very focused, right? So that's a real good thing about having purpose. We get very, well, like I was going to say narrow-minded, but, directly, thinking very directly. I've got this to do. I want to do that. So can be really good to get things done. But if your legs, because my foot, I really just noticed was a bit asleep, and I thought, oh yeah, we're going to shake out any sleep out. So there we go. Once you feel comfortable, just come back to sit. We're going to take the hands just to the floor on either side of the hips and away. We're going to take the inhalation as we lift that left arm up, and as we exhale, we're going to lean over to the right. You can bend that right elbow and let the arm come across the face and back down and across the body. The inhale as we sit back up and the arm swings out and up again. And the exhale as we lean to the right and slip that arm across and down, and then back straight as we inhale and exhale. 2 more. Find the rhythm of your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Enjoy the process. Last one. Inhale. And as you exhale, just coming into a little bit of a hold. You can have a little pulse if you like here, just to get the body more comfortable. And then from here, kick into this left leg. Really stretch out into it. And we inhale, pin that left hip down and reach into the left fingers, and then exhale. Swing your hand towards your foot as if you want to touch your toes, and then inhale back up. And exhale, reach down. You don't have to touch the toes, it's just the direction. Inhale back up, lift your heart, eyeball the ceiling. Exhale, reach down. Inhale, heart, the heart of the heart, the eye of the heart wants to eyeball the sky. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, look up. Wow, the stars. Exhale, reach that hand towards your foot, ankle, or leg, wherever you're reaching. And then this right hand is going to just walk behind that right hip in the opposite direction, as if you want to turn around and look at that hand, so we're in a funny, almost awkward twist. Yeah, that's right, Jen. Yep, everybody's there. It's a bit of a funny place to be. So reach into that left leg and breathe into the left side of the body. Take one more deep breath there. And as you exhale, bring that right hand to meet the left. And we come now to be more directly over this right leg in a forward bend. Kick into the heels and slightly draw those toes back. So that's going to help you, be able to stay in some integrity here, hopefully really planted back in the pelvis. And from that flowing out, from that the spine flowing out. And the back of the leg is getting a nice opening, but it's not all about the back of the leg, right? You can have a bend in the knee. And then as you're ready, when you're ready, you take an inhale, lift that left arm up to the sky and let it take you out of there. And on the exhale, we place it back down on the earth and ready for the other side. The next inhale is as the right arm lifts now. And as we exhale, leaning over to the left and the arm comes across the face and down. The next inhale, taking it back up. And exhale. See how the cats love this, Heather, right? The cats just love these sort of juicy, flowy movements. Our pets want to join us. Exhale. I have yin and yang cats now. One completely black, inhaling. The other one completely white. And they circle around each other like the yin and yang symbol. Inhale, lift up now, and then as you exhale, leaning over to the left hand side, and as you begin to lean to the left hand side, pin that right sit bone to the earth and reach out into your right heel, and then breathe into the right side of the body. If you needed that little pulsation, forgot to mention, you could have just a little pulsation to just ease the body into depth. And then we take that pinning down through the hips, reaching out through the fingers on the inhale and the exhale as we reach to the toes or beyond, and then inhale back up. Letting the eye of the heart look up to the sky, and then exhale, the eye of the heart looking down at the leg. Inhale, rising, opening. Exhale, folding and reaching. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last one here before we come into hold. Exhale, reach for that leg, ankle, or foot. And then as you do, you might want to just almost replant that right hip, and then reach that left hand behind you. Look over towards where the hand is, almost like it's trying to make an escape behind you out the back door. And you're just keeping a bit of an eye on it. So this gives the body a bit of a twist. Stay planted in the right leg and breathe into the right side of the body. Nice, full, deep, nourishing breaths. Expanders, breath expanders. And as you're ready, one more deep inhale there, and use the exhalation to bring that left hand beside the right or to that foot and just come into the fold. And again, you might need just a little lift of that right hip and then reestablish its grounding. So it can move and be tweaked a little bit with the new position. It might feel a little lighter, that's okay. We're just going to try and find that middle ground without it being too lifted and without it pulling too much on the joints of the hip. Perfection is not what we're looking for. I have my t-shirt on. I'm perfect or imperfect. It depends which way you read it. And then as you're ready, once again, use an inhalation to lift that right arm up, stroking the sky with it and bringing it back to the floor beside you. And just for a moment, taking your time to feel into the experience. Adjust anything if you like, a little bit of smoochiness through the shoulders, through the spine, through the neck. You can do that, anything that feels right for you. And then we're going to, I'm going this way. Then we're going to bring our legs together and come onto our back. Don't need this for now. Just going to come onto our backs. And we're going to have the soles of our feet to the floor with the knees bent. And you might just take a moment, perhaps with the hands on the belly or the arms wide away from the body with the palms facing up, just to let the body settle back down here. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale out anything that holds you back from fully being present and from fully being comfortable. So if you need to make any adjustments as you begin to feel into this inclined or reclined body now on the floor, meeting the earth, using the earth as feedback. And then we're going to inhale and extend the right leg up. You can actually bring the hands in beside the hips now with the palms facing down. And then exhale, we lower the legs slowly towards the floor, but not to the floor. And then inhale, bring it back in and up. And exhale it back down. So a half wheel, a half rotation. Well, it's a full rotation really, but with only one leg. So we're not cycling. So let's go about 5 in each direction. So once you've reached your 5th, if you were counting, I wasn't, but I can guess it, and then change, reverse the cycle, reverse the cycle. So reach the leg out and down, and then bringing it up. Perfect. And then after about 5 of those, we're going to lift the leg, hold it there for a moment. You might like to simply grab hold of the leg from the back of the knee. If you've got a little bit more to go, you can hold it right at the ankle. We're going to stretch that left arm out along the floor in line with our shoulder. We take a big inhale and breathe into your sacrum, plant it down on the earth, and also into the heel of that right leg. And as you exhale, we're just going to guide the right leg to the right and the left knee out to the left-hand side. So both the knee and the leg fall out in opposite directions. And we're going to try and keep the sacrum attached fairly evenly to the floor. You could drop that right elbow to the floor, particularly if you're just hanging on to the back of the knee. I'm really enjoying that tonight, taking a really lazy approach. Well, it is a chalasana, so we can all take the easy options and enjoy that. And then the leg just sits into the hand and allow the opening of the groin. Couple of deep breaths and breathe all the way down into the pelvis. Sometimes a little bit of time is good here. Then as you're ready, use your inhalation to shut the book of your thighs. So bringing both legs back to the center and almost crossing them off in opposite directions And once you cross them off in opposite directions, you can just bend that right knee, so it's cross then cross leg, and drop your knees down to the left-hand side, so we're coming into a twist. And if that is uncomfortable for you, you have your little pillow or your little something, and you can place it just under the knees, the legs in support, so you might not make it all the way down to the floor. And then, because it is quite strong, and then you might want to breathe into your buttock muscle, your hips, perhaps your ribs or shoulders. Just find where the body needs the most support and breathe into it. With attention, with focus, but also with compassion and care. And then as you're ready, you can inhale, back up, squeeze the thighs together in order to do that safely. Continue to reach that right leg up, maybe a little ankle rotation here as it reaches the peak. And then simply bend the knee and drop that foot down to the floor. You can bring those hands in, again, in line with the body, so the hands come alongside the hips, palms facing down. Take the next inhalation. I like to tuck my socks in if you've got open bottom legs. You don't want your pants dropping on you. Stretching out, drawing up into the heel, taking an inhale, breathing not just the sacrum down into the earth, grounding you there, but then the breath at the same time reaching up towards the heel of that left leg. Use an exhalation to guide the leg down in a straight line, almost to the floor, and then inhale it back in and up. And exhale down. And we're doing 5 in each direction. And then inhaling up on that last time, if you're not already there, holding it there for a moment. Taking your left hand just perhaps behind the back of the knee or thigh or even ankle if you like. Open up that right arm so it's along the floor in line with your shoulder now, giving you the support you need. Take an inhale, grounding down through the sacrum, and as you exhale, lower both the knee and the foot out to either side. So as we relax into this left leg, you can just let the left elbow sit at the floor and just hold the leg there as if your arm is actually a prop. If you wanted a little bit more weight, a little bit more encouragement for the right leg to fall out, should have said this on the other side, you could place your right hand there and just gently put a bit of weight onto it. So one hand is under the weight of that left leg and one hand could be on top, adding weight to the right leg. If that makes sense, you don't have to do it. Gosh, that white cat's really staring me off here. Okay, and take some nice deep breaths here. We're allowing the tension in the buttocks, hips, pelvis to be released. And then when you're ready, being careful, begin to close the book of your thighs, bringing them both into the center, crossing them over to the opposite sides, and then just bending that left knee and dropping both the knees over to the right hand side. Arms can come out now in line with the shoulders and support, so we're doing the full twist. And if that's too deep for you, for your legs to go to the floor and it lifts the shoulders, then just place your prop underneath your knees or your legs. And begin the process of conscious, deep, rhythmic breathing. And then using an inhalation to come up, really squeeze those thighs together in order to come up safely. Extend that left leg back up into the air. You might want to bring your hands back now and rotate your ankle a few times in each direction. And then we simply place the foot back down. So feet remain on the floor, hands remain beside the body, palms facing down. And now we're going to come into a little bit of a bridge pose. So here we press the feet into the floor, begin to tuck the tail under and then lift the hips and peel the spine as if vertebra by vertebra. Keep pressing those feet into the floor. And as you get higher, you might press the hands and arms in and then exhale. Slowly, vertebra by vertebra, back down. And see if we can make the sacrum the last thing to touch down. Inhale, feet press in, tail tucks, we lift the hips and peel the spine. Feet keep pressing in, we magnetize the inner thighs and knees towards each other. Keep shooting that tail between the knees. Press the arms in if you like. And then exhale, vertebra by vertebra. Soften any action through the arms in order that happens with a little bit more ease. Sacrum, the last thing to hip down. And one more time. Press the feet in, scoop the tail, lift the hips, peel the spine. Press the feet in, keep the legs in line with the hips, the knees in line with the feet. And then see if you can walk your shoulder blades in towards each other a little bit more as you press the hands and arms into the floor, as you see if there's anything else that you've got here. Take a couple of breaths here. Lengthen the back of the neck, make sure it's nice and comfortable, and then press the back of the head into the floor. Feet and head pressing in, shoulders and arms pressing in. And then as you're ready, just release that pressure, particularly from the arms, and shrug the shoulders slightly in order that the spine can really begin to release down one vertebra at a time. And then just allow yourself to land. Allow the body to become comfortable. You might even like to bring the soles of the feet together momentarily, let the knees fall out. That's not essential. They could just stay exactly as they are. Turn your palms up now and just receive for a moment the blessings of the back bend. If you find it difficult to be with the knees out, you can leave it or squeeze the feet slightly together in order to support the hips there, the hip joint. And then I'm going to bring the knees back up, widen the feet so they're back to hip distance. You could let the knees fall into the center. Perhaps the feet are a little wider, more like shoulder for that. Shoulder distance. Take a breath. Feel into the energy that is released through our back bends. Let it, swirl through the body. And our final pose for the evening, and I might overshoot a little bit because a long chat at the beginning went into a rant. I'm going to use just my little cushy here, so you might like to find something else, or the one thing that you're using may also be just appropriate. You could roll a blanket or use a little thing like this. This, as long as you really feel supported by both shoulder blades. Because we're going to lie back down on this, but really at the shoulder blades. So the arms sort of just come over it. And this is not so big that I need anything under my head. I don't need anything to support my neck, but if you've got something a little bit higher, even if you get like your little cardi, you could just roll that directly under the base of your skull, so the back of the neck is supported and that the head can still tilt back. So see how you go. Take the support that you need, keep the tail long, and just let go there. So as you get comfortable and sit back into it, I'm going to invite you to imagine that the breath is coming in directly through the heart center. And in a circular action, you're inhaling it from the heart center through the throat and into the third eye. So this half moon shape. And then as you exhale, it's coming from the third eye in a circular or half circular action to the outer heart, the outer starting point. And then the inhale as you breathe that back in, and it circulates to back and to the third eye. And as you exhale, it comes out in completing the circle to the heart. So we're making this circular action with the breath from the heart to the third eye, and from the third eye to the heart, in this beautiful circulating breath action. And then as you're ready, I'd like you to let that go and reverse the cycle, so we can inhale as if breathing in through our third eye, circulating that back and around into the heart. And exhale as we breathe it back out the heart and circulate it back in through the third eye. So we do this in order to begin to connect the energetic points of the heart and the mind. They need to be aligned and connected in order to have conscious action and an effective product of that. But we want the heart. We want the heart to be leading the mind. So just allowing any visualization or effort there to begin to dissolve. You can begin to just roll out to one side. And you might like to get rid of your little prop, or you might like to place your little prop underneath your knees. And it's back to winter. So if you need something warm on, please take it. My central heating is still gone. It's been weeks. This is like not ideal in the winter. So please be warm. And then just lay yourself back down. You might like to begin to simply take a couple of conscious breaths into the body and focus a little bit more now on the exhalations and just gently extending those exhalations. And let the extended exhalations really help release the muscles and to let the body connect more deeply to the support of the earth beneath you. Let your eyeballs rest back into their sockets and rest onto the brain. And then simply allow the brain itself to rest back into the hands of the skull. And then the skull to simply rest back into the support of the earth. And really ground down the activity of the mind, which is so heavily stimulated these days by the activity of the eyes. Rest your eyes and rest your brain. And then simply relax your shoulders. And feel the whole shoulder girdle, shoulder blades just holding and supporting your heart center. And as the heart begins to rest back in the support of the shoulders and the earth supporting the shoulders, let your heart simply bleed open. And then begin to rest your hips or buttocks into the earth. And letting the energy center deep inside your pelvis be held by the pelvis itself, which in turn is supported by the earth. And finally, let the back of your hands and your feet rest back, release, and open. The organs of action. Let them rest. You can completely and utterly stay where you are and just come up whenever you're ready. Or if you're closing class with me, then you can roll onto any comfortable and uninjured side as you feel ready to do so. And just supporting yourself to come back up. So bringing our hands together into prayer and just gently rubbing them from side to side quickly. Feeling the heat being generated, and then just simply place them over your closed eyes. And perhaps beginning to massage the face. Before bringing your hands down into prayer at the heart center. Feeling the back of the thumbs touching the sternum, behind which the heart center resides, bowing the head gently to the heart. Tamasoma Sadgamaya Mrityoma Amratam Gamaya. I'm actually too sort of stoned. I can't remember the rest of the chant. But I can't remember that. I say it all every day, so I do know it, but it's left me. This is inside out. I'm all completely all over the place. I didn't want to get out of that. So I'm hoping you're feeling the same. But the chant I was trying to call forth was one where we, we can peel off our illusions and come to a deeper understanding about ourselves and about life. So I wish that upon you this week, and forgive me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.